And we are off. Electric gets an early start up front, and Ewing and both Sailor Jerry have that back wall. Relatively slow starts for them as they tend to be speedmeisters. Seems to be a defensive play by Ewing to see if he can get around that 2 wall, wait for a good moment. Sailor Jerry gets challenged by that back wall. Ewing takes that opportunity to go meet their front wall, has to deal with Claudzilla in the front, and they all get sucked into the back. Sailor Jerry being held back by Jamalama Ding Dong, and Ewing gets popped on the inside. Both jammers are reset to the back. Sailor Jerry in the middle of the pack now, gets around his pivot, and now we have a race up front. Ewing steals the lead, and we have a lead jam by Fountain City. As White tries to fight to the front, we have 3 in the back, and Blue is holding a good containment. Let's see if we see some smart derby or fast derby here. Ewing takes his cut, Sailor Jerry follows. Sailor Jerry picks up a couple points in the back. Ewing able to call it before he gets knocked out of bounds by Quadzilla. Looks like we have 3, 2, 1 jams for White. In the back, we have speed once again. We have T-Rye versus Mel Ryan, or Mel Malice, my apologies. T-Ryan. T-Rye cuts through her back wall and then meets with the front wall with Myers holding her back. Mel Malice having a little bit of difficulty with that back 2 wall, turning into a 3 wall as the pivots skate way in front as they just want to coast because they know that either one of their teammates can get up front at any moment. T-Ryan gets up front, and we have triple threat a little out of play, has to wait before she can rejoin before challenging Lowrider. Gets 1 hit on Lowrider, he takes them both out. Mel Malice having an opportunity with Tiff being able to knock Mel, but she stays in bounds. T-Ryan coming up to the back of the pack, triple threat looks like she's about to be contained by a 4 White wall. 1 hit, and there you go. That's 1 point for White. Calls it off before hitting that 3 wall up front, but were they out of play? Is that 4 points? That is 4 points. The blue wall was pushed so far up front that they were out of play. 1 point becomes 4 in that opportunity. Also, welcome to the announcer table, Val Raven.
Yeah. All right, we've got number 15, that is T-Bone Trina, going against, we've got number 10, that is Rolomite.
Electra and Wrecking Bill up front against that wall of thunder, and that looks like Cherry Violence.
We've got Rolomite playing some jammer defense in the back, and he gets around that 2 wall.
Very strategic, waiting for great opportunities. Not always just running straight for the line. They're way better at me at this sport. Rolomite getting a great lead, but T-Bone Trina soon to follow. Rolomite has the speed, but White has the position. Blue has a solid 4 wall. Let's see if Karma can cap it. Cut on the outside, spinning move to get 4 points and call it off. 4 points for the Satellites.
On the jammer line, we have Ewing for Fountain City, and we have Quadzilla for Satellites. Fountain City's got a nice flat 3 wall.
And Quadzilla playing part of that defense on his jammer until he sees the opportunity. Looks like there's a penalty on White, no, on Blue, 0. Looks potentially like a back block, but we'll get clarification later. That means it's gonna be a power jam, and Quadzilla can take the opportunity he wants to break out. Now, will White be able to hold the blue panties? That's the big question. Tiff able to get 1 hit on Queen of Hearts, but comes out of play. Queen of Hearts is able to activate. As Quadzilla comes to the back of the pack, how many points is he going to grab? With Toucan being held, he's able to go on the outside and grab 2 points and call it. 2 points, and I do believe there is no ghost point for the jammer in the box, so leads a total of 2 points. That is a very interesting question that Quadzilla is arising. There's one in the box. Is that 2 points or 3?
Looks like it's just going to be 2. We've got Mel Malice on the line for Fountain City and
T. Ryan on the satellites. Satellites, as T. Ryan deftly cuts in between everyone, her high agility and lateral movement really sets her apart from everyone as she's able to cut through what is clearly a spectacular pack of blockers.
we've got a high block on the pivot for Fountain City. This pack is racing.
As a very smart play by Blue, they really want to take the opportunity to run away from that imposing jammer, but they get caught as there's a tangle up in the back with Ewing and Lowrider.
Pack is called front because the blue jammer is not part of the pack, so it looks like Fountain City is running away.
For those of you that aren't understanding, the pack is in the front because with their even numbers, whoever is in front is going to be the lead. So the best of opportunity Lowrider and Karma have is to capture one person to drag it to the back. But the superior speed by Fountain City is able to protect them from what could have been a disastrous run. Great job by Fountain City to play strategic roller derby.
Looks like we've got Rolomite on the jammer line for Satellites and T-Bone Trina for Fountain City. And Satellites are down one skater, so pack advantage to Fountain City.
Rolomite with some nice old defensive jamming against T-Bone Trina. And up front, we see Zombina, Tiff clashing, having a good old bout with each other.
Rolomite still playing some defensive jamming tactics here.
I won't claim to know what he's thinking, but I'll say that it's probably miles ahead of what I'm understanding.
He did let his blocker out of the box, which is why I believe he was waiting for that. Looks like the pivot is out of play currently.
I'm not seeing a not lead call. It looks as if Nikki Necrosis, it was out of play before breaking. She must wait to get back in the re-engagement zone before the pivot is able to take off. She is signaled, and now Nikki Necrosis gets able to break. That will be a question of whether or not she's able to finish her first scoring pass before Rolomite can pick up 8 points.
We've got Tiff in the back here playing some defense, trying to hold one of those blockers. We've got Carter on the floor.
That's a hip, and everyone stopped to take that moment in because he was wrecking it right with that hip, knocking Rolomite onto the outside of the track, stunning everyone on and off the track. Great hit by wrecking it right.
There was also a beautiful defensive wall for Satellites in the back there with Wrecking Bill and number 89 on the Satellites. That is Pippi Strong blocking.
Both Pippi and Tiff established Fountain City skaters that I've always loved playing with. Spectacular people, and it's always great to see them competing at the highest level possible.
We've got Quadzilla, and that looks like
Queen of Hurts in the back. But what I'm really focused on is this front wall of Karma and Ewing. I think it's a spectacular battle of wills on that one. Both of these guys are vigilant, and Karma is better backwards than most people I know of. Ewing just takes the front, even though it knocks him out of play. It's all right. He just doesn't want to get trapped behind the oppressive backwards blocker that is Carmen Electrac.
There's a beautiful strong wall here by the Satellite players holding back Gemma. I'm sorry, Queen of Hurts.
Quadzilla might have tapped on the inside line, but looks like it's not called. And Mamba, who's getting some good position on him, as they're going to try and swallow up Ewing before anyone can do anything. Ewing slightly out of play. He is able to activate. Looks like Karma's able to put a block on him, but it does get him out of play. He is signaled, he is active. He did get out perfectly out of the engagement zone. Smart play by Ewing. Quadzilla calling points, a very smart move by him. Just grab one or two if he can and immediately call it. He knew that he was being threatened by that blue point scorer, which was Ewing as the pivot.
Does hold him to 0, though. It was a very good call-off.
Smart play. Still anybody's game, as we're only a 17-point differential, if I can tell by the scoreboard.
$27-point differential, sir.
Oh, is that 2? I thought that was a 12. My apologies.
I believe that is a 2, sir. We have on the jammer line for Satellites, we've got T. Ryan and Mel Malice.
Ooh, Mel taking a spill, but she's as good as anybody at recovering real quickly. But T-Ride does take that outside move and is able to break out. Not to be outdone, Triple Threat will be racing shortly behind. Now let's see if Blue can fight to the front and really race this pack, giving Triple Threat more opportunity to catch her opposing jammer. Silver's really gonna try and pinch off one, and they do with Cherry Violence. She has to enter behind Pippi Strong blocking, giving White 1 point as she calls it off and stands back up. It looks as if Blue did a good job of staying in play, correcting their earlier mistake. Everyone stays in play, only 1 point, circumventing what could have been disastrous circumstances. Smart plays by Blue, great skill and strategy by White. Great.
Absolutely. We've got I believe that's T-Bone Trina on the jammer line for Fountain City, and that is Carter for the Satellites. We've got a very strong 2-all in the back here, holding by, as we have a tumble there. We've got Karma Electrac holding T-Bone Trina on the back by herself.
Hit after hit, Mamba with the pop onto the inside and the outside, prevents the apex jump.
Carter with a spin move on the outside line. T-Bone Trina is out. Oh no. Apparently she had to cut track yield. We've got Carter called as lead jammer. Sorry for my apologies.
But that gives the green light to Mamba, who can go into a contact. I believe it was clean, but I heard a whistle. Was that on someone else? I heard a forearm being called, but it doesn't seem as if whoever the skater is that got it knows that they've gotten a forearm. Oh, Bill was
Bill.
Wrecking Bill, also as I like to call him, the immortal Wrecking Bill. Unable to retire, he will be playing Derby until all of us here are well past him.
Absolutely. Our score is 2-35 in favor of the Satellites. We've got Ewing on the jammer line for Fountain City, and I believe that is
Sailor Jerry by the Satellites.
Thank you.
Now, while the score shows 35-2, I think it's just a testament that Smart Derby can really tally up points 1 or 2 at a time. All you really need to do is shut your opponent out from getting a couple of points, and it can really show a more one-sided game than it actually is. All of these jams are very close going to the end. As we say this, Ewing gets a clean break. No panty is out, and it looks as if Pippi is out of play, finally able to get back into the pack, and now is able to activate. But Ewing having about a 40-foot lead against her. But Pippi strong blocking is vigilant. She will go out and chase him down.
She is closing that gap there.
Ewing's able to pick up at least 1 point. There is a whistle on the play. Pippi does go down. Is he able to get all 4? He takes the smart points. He easily could have been knocked down there, giving Pippi the opportunity to take lead back. So he gets a good call off.
Looks like
3 points to Fountain City as I see it.
I believe you are correct.
You know, if you want to put it this way, they raised their score by 150%. That's a huge improvement.
Absolutely. Mel Malice on the jammer line for Fountain City versus T. Ryan, and there is a call-off.
Did one of the jammers false start? Oh, there's
One in the box for the Satellites. They fielded too many skaters.
improper procedure. That would mean their captain has to serve into the box, which, while most of the time is a bad thing, I think putting Quadzilla on the track more might not be inherently bad. Let's see how it plays out.
However, the Satellites are starting down by 2 skaters, so this is pack advantage for Fountain City, who has a very strong 3-ball in the back. We've got Mel Malice playing a little bit of jammer D in the back, making sure that her blockers can contain T. Ryan.
See, she cuts on the inside, cuts to the middle, is able to dissect that wall. Nice little pop on the inside to Myers. Let's see if they're able to recycle.
Hit out there. Beautiful hit out there by, I can't think of names right now. Tiff, there we go.
As Tiff gets knocked down. I have not seen T. Ryan held back this hard all tournament. It really does show how the penalty advantage can change things. But now let's see how we go when we have even numbers and we have lowriders closing the distance on Mel Malice. Let's get some smart derby. Cut to the inside, a good move! Is able to get around on one skate in transition and call it off.
But the question is, did Lowrider pick up any points there?
White's pointing. White wants some points. They say, hey, talk to our coach. She's got some info to tell you. This isn't a review. I do want to point out, this is just the coach talking to the refs.
Does look like Satellites were held to 0 that jam. We've got, looks like an official review.
Talking is one thing, but if you want anything to actually be done about what you're talking about, you got to call that official review. For those of you who don't know, their timeout is in jeopardy because if this official review gets declined, they lose one of their timeouts. But if the review is accepted, then they actually get the opportunity to still have both of their timeouts proceeding forward.
However, I think it was a pretty good call because we've only got 3 minutes approximately left in this half here, so well needed and well-deserved break here.
Honestly, with how hard everyone's fighting to the bitter end, might be good for both teams to take a break. Even if the review hadn't been called, might not be bad to let everybody cool down a little bit. When you're playing derby at the highest level, it's really easy to get tunnel vision and really say, hey, I'm going to win, I'm going to hit, and you lose track of the overall big picture, the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely, and this is a fantastic game going on right here. We've got 8-35 in favor of the Satellites, but that score is not indicative of this level of play that is going on right now. It is beautiful.
I mean, we just saw it right now. The FCRD just got 6 unanswered points. They do that a couple more times, this becomes neck and neck. The 12-point jams have been easy by both teams in other games that they've played in this tournament. So I have no doubt if they just get one good opportunity to hold both point scorers in the back, this could get blown out in either direction.
Absolutely.
Satellites challenge an illegal call-off and lost.
The Satellites challenge an illegal call-off and lost. If I had to guess, Mel Malice started the call-off inbounds, and the call-off started and ended while she was inbounds, even though her motion continued while she was out of bounds. Great job by Mel to get a tight one. But Roland Mike doesn't like losing official. Pardon? That's what the challenge was about.
We've got Nikki Necrosis as an active scorer, but we've got Rolomite, and he gets all 4 points and calls it off before Nikki Necrosis can reach that pack.
As her and Pippi Strong blocking have a nice little Titanic moment to end the jam. As Celine Dion said it best, my heart will go on. And I think the big determinant of who's going to win this one is heart. Whoever's going to be fighting every minute, every second of this game, they're going to be the ones that pull out away at the end. I think this is still too early to say if we have a clear momentum. As demonstrative by Ewing getting to that front wall, and T. Ryan, not to be outdone, is going to fight and cut easily just as well. Ewing gets swallowed up just a little bit, but he's right on her. But she has to deal with two blockers that are Queen of Hearts and, I believe, One Hit Thunder, giving Ewing the opportunity to get up front. Lowrider is in the pack and is able to activate, but Ewing's got that speed, but Lowrider has the efficiency.
Looks like Fountain City is trying to hold back a blocker from the Satellites to get that 1 point for Lowrider. We've got a big tumble here on turn 1, my apologies. We've got 1 for the Satellites and 1 for Fountain City.
Both Thunder and Tiff taking a spill there. It's a bit of a wash of a jam, but at the end of the day, better safe than sorry.
We do have an official timeout. Looks like they're going to be talking about that.
Anytime anyone gets a little low, it can be really 50-50 on if a low block on you, a low block on me, our feet got tangled up. Thunder's in the box, but the question is whether or not White goes into the box too on this one.
If I had to take a guess, I would also believe that that's probably what they're talking about. Oh, it looks like there is a forearm call on one of the Satellite skaters. That looks like Tiff.
Like we said, people getting tangled up, calls can go both ways. Tiff heads to the...
Both teams have 1 down. We've got Quadzilla on the jammer line, and we have Mel Malice for Fountain City. We've got Carmelectrek in the back playing one-on-one solo against Mel Malice. We've got Quadzilla coming up top, but he is waiting to break to make sure to see if somebody can hold that pivot back.
The strategic jammer play. Really waiting for that opposing jammer and pivot to get swallowed up before he takes off. But when he sees Mel comes up, he says, all right, well, none of that. Let's just have a fun little race. Mel Malice will be hot on his trail the entire time, so now it's about who's going to be smart to grab these extra points.
Big tumble there right by the pivot line. We've got about a 10-foot difference.
Oh, he might take a spill. He stays
here.
on.
Let's see what goes on. Oh, no call off yet.
Mel stole lead for a second, but Quadzilla has it back. He goes, cuts on the outside. My apologies. Didn't mean to say cut. I meant to say he swerved to the outside.
There you go.
The usage of the word cut could be misleading by me. I'm sorry. Quadzilla gets all of his points and gets out with a good block by Pippi Strong blocking. Who gets taken out by Anita Hurtja? Way to clean up the block and give your jammer an opportunity to get out. Quadzilla going to go for some more points here.
Looks like Mel has 2 Satellite skaters to beat. At the top, that's Sailor Jerry and Carmelectrek. However, it looks like she does get hit down, but also Sailor Jerry went out of bounds, and Quadzilla gets through for another 4 points. Oh, 5 points. And that's halftime.
A spectacular half. We will rejoin you closer to the beginning of the second half. Thank you so much.
Looks like we've got Nikki Necrosis on the jammer line for Fountain City, and we've got Rolomite for Satellites playing some jammer defense there in the back of the pack, waiting for his blockers to grab. And Rolomite does get lead. We've got T-Bone Trina fighting in the front against the other pivot, but she does get out.
I really do like that strategic sitting on the other jammer, just waiting for the right moment. Really shows discipline and experience as he jumps the apex, but Zombina gets there. The question is whether or not he landed inside or not.
Looks like he did land it. He did get 4 points, so it looks like 5.
5. Looks like he got a lap point on that, as Blue has not broken any of their point scorers.
Got a beautiful, strong defensive wall here in front, but Timo Trina is able to break through. We've got Carter coming around for a second scoring pass. Fountain City doing a wonderful job holding back.
But she goes out of bounds, so it's okay. Oh, but she doesn't realize that she was out of bounds. And Karma really sells, oh, I never went out of bounds at all. That never happened.
Well, we do have Wrecking Bill, though, on another penalty. Carter with a beautiful spin move on the outside, double spin move there.
I believe Wrecking Bill's penalty was for not retiring yet, still. We'll wait for the officials to be told what officially it was. Was that directional?
Was it directional? Yes.
It's the directional block. He should be going in the direction of counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise.
Derby
Derby
always
direction.
go in derby direction. Wrecking Bill lives in derby direction. He ties his shoes in derby direction, believe it or not.
We do have Ewing on the jam line versus Sailor Jerry for the Satellites.
Tiff and Queen of Hearts with a nice little bump. They always love that first little pivot exchange. It really is my tone-setting experience of the jam.
We did have Sailor Jerry in the back there playing a little bit of Jammer D against Ewing. Looks like Sailor Jerry's got one to beat up top, being held back there by the Fountain City blocker. But we've got Ewing out for lead jammer. We have Tiff breaking right after. Pack is all.
When I first started roller derby, the Ewing-Tiff battle was always my favorite to watch. And here I am 6 years later, still loving every second of it as Ewing cuts to the outside. Wreck-It Right takes out the pivot, being able to give Ewing an opportunity to get all 4 points. Ewing's probably going to go for a second pass here, showing confidence in his blockers and showing the ability to hold Tiff to hopefully less than 4 points as Ewing tries to pick up all 8. Another hit to the outside knocks Tiff out, putting her to the back of the pack. As Ewing gets up to the back of the pack, let's see if he can pick it up. One more! And Tiff has to wait for re-entry as the rest of the pack goes there. Blue has that back wall. Ewing's going to pass one, but Pippi takes a fall. Wrecking Bill gets knocked out, giving him the clear opportunity as both of the players that knocked him out were on the ground or out of play. Ewing eventually calls it off, and a smart, great play by Ewing. Way to stick to it.
Looks like he was able to pick up a couple more points on that second pass there. We've got T. Ryan on the jammer line for Satellites versus Mel Malice, I believe. Yes, for Fountain City.
Oh, the backwards blocking by Tripp, throwing Anita Hercha into him. Able to hold T. Ryan as she cuts in the inside and obviates that 2-wall. One more cut to the inside. Is she able to get bumped? Myers is holding a good hip on her, but she's able to surpass. T. Ryan gets up front and is the lead jammer. Now let's see if Blue can get any of their panties out as Mel Malice has a challenge with Lowrider. And Triple Threat on the outside rejoins the pack, giving it all to Mel. Lowrider takes the hit,
Big tumble there in turn 3. We've got a penalty call. I'm not sure what it was for. And that would be the pivot for Satellites. That's Lowrider going to the box.
Mel's coming up in the back wall, and T. Ryan doesn't see it. Does call it off, almost as if intuitively knew it was there, or maybe that's bench communication.
Got that 1 point, though. Holds Fountain City to 0.
Strategery right there. That is exactly what that is.
Satellites are starting 1 in the box there, so there is a pack advantage for Fountain City. We've got Quadzilla on the jammer line versus, I think that's Zambina. We've got Karma Electric starting extremely low, hitting that pivot out. However, she does get a directional on that hit.
You hate to see it, you love to feel it.
Beautiful hit out there in the back by Tiff, slowing it down, making that jammer come in behind her. However, she gets the out of play.
Ooh, T-Bone Chena able to hit him, but he's able to keep both skates in bounds. Does get the opportunity for Nikki Necrosis to get up front and try and hold him back. But Quadzilla does persist and does get out. T-Bone Trina, as part of the pack, is able to leave, but no one is waving. There it is. The wave showing that she is not lead jammer, but Quadzilla is about to re-enter the pack, and it looks as if one is already caught.
Satellites are doing a really good job of holding that one in the back there.
Quadzilla
However, he does get hit out of bounds.
T-Bone Trina is able to surpass and take lead, But will she be able to keep it before he's able to get back in front of her and call it off?
Looks like there's another lead change there going to Quadzilla. Does a nice spin move to the inside and calls it off for those full 4 points. Did T-Bone pick up any points, though?
Oh, she had to have. She had to have,
I
right?
believe she did, too. I cannot see how many, though. It looks like 3, 2, 1. They keep changing it. Looks like 1, 2.
It is definitely a number that is between 0 and 20,
Thank you.
if I had to guess.
So fantastic guess there. We've got Ewing on the jam line for Fountain City versus Rollamite for Satellites. Very tight-knit pack here. Looks like Ewing's going to play a little bit of Jammer D here against Rollamite before Ewing takes off. Looks like both jammers are taking the outside. Ewing does get headed out by Carmelectrac.
Oh, a nice
Taking
little
that
hop
inside.
skip on the inside.
Yes. Taking that nice little hop skip on the inside. We've got the pivot for Fountain City has broken, but however, Rollamite is playing a little bit of jammer defense, waiting to see if they can recapture Gemma, but they are out of play. They've got one in the back from Satellites.
Ooh, look at this. Smart play, being able to hold that pack and give the opportunity to Gemma to get out. Has a nice little hop skip from the inside to the middle and is able to pick up all of his points.
Ewing does pick up a forearm on that last jam, though, so Fountain City will be starting one down. We've got Melmelis on jammer line for Fountain City versus T. Ryan for the Satellites here. We've got a 2-all in the back. However, Melmelis does take the outside. Looks like she's being held by a very low blocker there. That is Pippi Strong blocking, I believe.
Mel Malice challenges that front wall and is able to get to it as T. Ryan's able to obviate that blue middle wall.
T. Ryan's playing a little bit of defensively, trying to see if they can get the pivot out of play. The pivot is out of play, so they cannot break. However, they are back in play, and the pivot for Fountain City does break. That's triple threat. We have T. Ryan in the lead, though. Let's see what she can do with this. Little hop, skip, jump, and she lands on one skate. Beautifully executed there. And looks like they did give her 4 points for that beautiful hop, skip, jump.
That is, I believe I've seen that in the Mighty Ducks movie. If you can just absolutely figure skate around them, why not? Split the defense with it. Absolutely spectacular by T. Ryan.
Triple threat out for 4 points as well.
One hit on the inside by Ewing gets T. Ryan to get into the inside. As he's able to sit on her and Triple Threat's able to put a hip.
It's a lead change and a call off by Triple Threat.
It may in fact have been I believe that was Triple Threat's first scoring pass, though. Donna, you can clarify to me, if one jammer's on their second scoring pass, are they able to be stolen lead from?
I do believe so, because the jammer laps do reset.
Ah, that's spectacular. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome. Looks like the officials are having a little chat, though, so I wonder. And we are going to have an official timeout, because they did need a little bit longer than 30 seconds to chat about it.
Maybe, just maybe, I don't know anything about this sport.
I think you're wonderful.
I feel like that was the equivalent of saying, well, at least you're pretty.
Oh, no.
I'm definitely not pretty.
Oh, hush.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's see here. I wonder what the officials were chatting about. Hopefully someone will come over and tell us what that little talk was about. Hey, there was an illegal call-off, apparently, so they are a lap down, so that was why lead did not change. So that was an illegal call-off there. They have 2 in the box for Fountain City. There's a pack advantage for Satellites going in. There's a strong 2-ball in the back holding the Fountain City jammer down. We've got Quadzilla, looks like he's got 1 to beat, taking the outside around 4. Lead. We've got Carmelectrac holding back that pivot, with a strong 2-ball holding that pivot and a strong 2-ball in the back for Satellites holding back the jammer. They have all reformed together. Pack is very tight-knit. As Quadzilla comes around for a scoring pass, we do have the Fountain City pivot. Has a track cut yield, unfortunately. Quadzilla taken around the outside, hit out by Black Mamba. And we've got several people on the floor here.
A little bit of a garage sale there as everybody has to take a moment, stop and inventory what all is happening. Oh, looks like Nikki Necrosis is being called and sent to the box, giving the Satellites a true opportunity to rack up the score here. They've been getting 1 or 2 points at a time, but they are not shy from picking up these 12-point jams if they can. Quadzilla playing smart, asking to hold that ball pack in the back. He's going to push them out front 10 feet and then cut them out of play, getting all of his points fairly easily. And
Nice
that
little
might
hop
also be an
around.
out-of-play block, too. I heard a whistle. What happened?
It was an out-of-play block on Black Mamba. Pack was considered back there, but I don't think Fountain City had anybody break for that.
Now, I think that is to be said that I think that is highly intelligent play by Quadzilla. Really shows age of experience that before he entered the pack, noticed the baby, said, hey, capture this person, hold them in the back. I will get in front of my own team, push them out of play, and as soon as anyone contacts him once they're out of play, he's able to both pick up all 4 points and the penalty, making a spectacular veteran move by Quadzilla.
We've got Rolomite for Satellites and Ewing for Fountain City. Rolomite playing a little bit of jammer defense, it looks like, in the back of the pack. We've got number 89 for the Satellites. That is Pippi Strong blocking, playing some beautiful one-on-one. However, both of our jammers do appear to be out of the pack. We've got Rolomite playing a little bit of jammer defense here, trying to see if potentially his blockers could swallow up Ewing before he takes off.
Oh, the slow play, the smart play. Able to reabsorb the enemy jammer back into the pack because he was not going to get a clean break. Going from a 10-foot advantage to what might be a 100-foot advantage. Rolomite truly making the smart play here.
Coming around for a scoring pass. Let's see. We do have Gemma is out of play, though. She does not seem to see it. We've got Rolomite coming around for a second scoring pass here. He does call it off before does pick up that jammer lap point there. It's a 5-0 jam. Currently, our score is 30-95 in favor of the Satellites. But again, this is not indicative. This bout is wonderfully played. There's a lot of beautiful strategy being played by both teams.
Honestly, I think every single jam is very close. Every now and again, opportunity shows up and that becomes a high-scoring jam. But with a 65-point differential, that could be made up in a couple of jams at best.
Absolutely.
Especially with swift movements by 62. Zombina catches herself, says, my hand might have been flying a little bit.
We do have number 24 from the Satellites going to the box. That is PMS. However, the Fountain City pivot is currently breaking, so that means our jammer for Fountain City is now currently a blocker and is way out of play. We do have a call. Let's see if they do pick up all the points. I'm not sure if they were out of play. It looks like they were not. Beautiful job staying in play there. That is 1 point for Satellites. We have Sailor Jerry on the jam line for Satellites versus, I believe that's Nikki Necrosis for Fountain City. We got Ewing and Carmelectrac battling it
did
out.
Ewing false start? He's smiling and giggling about it. He doesn't know.
Beautiful jammer defense there in the back of the pack by Sailor Jerry, waiting to hold back the opposing jammer.
And Mamba punishing him for it, able to give him a nice little knock. And here we are, Carmen and Ewing just giving each other little bumps, fighting for that superior position. They don't care they're out of play. They just like each other. They're good friends. Sailor Jerry enters behind the person that knocked him out and takes the outside as Karma is able to give Ewing a nice little shove, but he will not let that hold him back. He'll wait for the whistle and then go as he's within the engagement zone. And Sailor Jerry has about a 30-foot lead, but Ewing might be called on a track cut yield or was not called deemed in the pack. There seems to be something else that's the matter.
Looks like Sailor Jerry did pick up lead as the Fountain City Jammer did get swallowed by the pack. Did capture lead, but then got swallowed up. So that was a lead change for Sailor Jerry and the Satellites.
Now I am curious why Ewing isn't able to advance.
The opposing jammer did break.
Yes. Well, the opposing jammer broke.
Or sorry, the Fountain City
Jammer broke.
Yes,
and they got swallowed up.
And then
Oh,
they got
spectacular!
swallowed up.
I missed that. Ewing is asking the same question that I am. How was she marked active?
She did get out.
Was it 10 feet?
I don't think it was 10 feet. Personally, but I'm not a ref. I don't see what they see, so.
I can't count, so I couldn't tell you either way.
Some beautiful jammer love going on there. That is Mel Mellis and Rolamites. Strong 2L here in the back. However, they do get around number 89. That's Pippi Strong blocking. We've got Rolamite in the back of the pack, kind of playing a little bit of jammer defense, going through his 2-wall.
Gravy with a good hit on the jammer.
Absolutely.
Holding Mel Malik to the back.
Covering that inside line. That's so important here.
Oh, and Gemma takes a spill.
We've got the pivot and the jammer in the back of the pack. Let's see, can Bill hit? No.
No, the large sweep, but is Tiff able to follow up? Was she knocked out of bounds?
Tiff did go out of bounds, and Gemma.
Oh!
Oh my goodness!
Wrecking Bill comes in.
What a huge hit there on Mel Malice from Wrecking Bill. We do have, we do have Queen of Hertz there for. She did become active scorer for Fountain City. We've got the Fountain City players were called out of play, so Carter's able to skate by very, very easily.
Mel looking like she took that hit pretty hard. Let's see if she's able to recoup and get back. Both panties swallowed up in the back. Rollamite cuts on the inside. There's an elbow call on
Wrecking
Bill, 86, and he resumes in the penalty box as he picks something up off the track on his way. Gemma's able to break, and she might be able to stop the bleeding here.
She did pick up 4 points, so currently it's a wash. Let's see here. Rollamite does skate through the inside for an easy scoring pass there. I wish I could see the scoreboard better.
It is currently 34 to 101 in favor of the Satellites.
On the jammer lane, we've got T. Ryan versus Triple Threats. Getting stuck in the back of the pack there. We've got Karma Electrac playing some wonderful blocker defense one-on-one in the back against Triple Threats. Triple Threat is able to get out, but we have Lowrider in the front as Pivot just holding one.
She's able to use Thunder to get on that inside, and Triple Threat does get the track cut yield. It was close, but hey, that move is smart to take no matter what.
Absolutely.
T. Ryan is able to challenge Anita Hertcha on the outside, and let's see if Myers can use her teammate to get them out, but T. Ryan persists and is able to get up front and activate. Looks like there's a spill. Blue pivot is all the way in the back, which means Triple Threat has to fight Lowrider one-on-one to get up front. Wrecking Bill comes in to support his teammate. They might be out of play here, but either way, it looks as if Anita Hertcha was close to being able to hold back T. Ryan, who goes for another pass. It does seem as if Triple Threat will enter the pack first, so let's see if T. Ryan calls it off to avoid exhaustion, but does give Triple the opportunity to burn herself out a little bit before calling it off.
Also trying to burn out that clock. It looks like that is the end of our game.
Oh, that was it?
That was it.
The tensions were so high, I forgot to look at the time.
I did as well. These 20-minute halves are killing me inside.
What a game.
What a
Thank you
game.
so much, everyone, as we got to demonstrate the highest level of USARs I have ever seen.
Wonderfully executed. There was a lot of beautiful strategy done by both sides. Lots of jammer defense and swallowing back the opposing scorer. We have a final score of 34 to 123 in favor of the Satellites.